Wagwan everyone, North London is red.
I don't need to do no intro. You've seen it there. Oh, yes. You've seen it. North London is red and will always be red. What a big victory. Big up my brother Wilf in the place.
Sup, people? How you doing? You know what I mean? See, that's a well brought up child. He knows. That's a well brought up child. He knows.
Exactly, man. Exactly. How are you, though, my bro, man?
You know what? I'm kind of, how you been? How I'm feeling. I almost swore there. I'm buzzing. I am buzzing. We both the TPG predicted the exact score. You knew they was going to score. Either it was going to be the ref get him something, we get him something. Somebody was going to get him something. You know what I mean? Because Arsenal can be a charity sometimes and have to look after the little teams lower down in the league, you know. So we have to throw them a little bone and things. So we knew they was going to score, but I didn't doubt in my mind this was going to be a win. We're a different animal now.
Exactly. But how you feeling, though, man? Like,
I'm buzzing. I'm not surprised because this is what I was seeing from the season. I feel like Xhaka redemption.
Yo, we'll get into
because of all the because of all the things that people were saying about us. We ain't played no one big yet. You know, we ain't never had a big test and this, that, and the other. All the things that people have been saying about us since the start of the season, waiting for us to fall, and then we jump over a big hurdle like this and batter them. They were lucky to get out of there 3-1. I'm sorry. I know I got my Arsenal head on and I know it's emotional, but they were lucky to get out of there 3-1. They had nothing. They went into the game thinking, let's just hold on as long as we can to try and stop them from scoring. But we're a force of nature at the moment. We're a force of nature going forward. We will score. There's very few teams that are going to shut us out. And from the Spuds couldn't do that. From Tottenham couldn't do that. They ain't winning the game. You know what I mean? They're not with it. At best, they could have got a draw. But it showed that which I've always thought in football, a team will beat a bunch of good individuals. Yes, they've got an elite manager. No one's going to argue that.
I agree. 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Yes, by all means, they've got an elite manager. No one's arguing that. Yes, they got a couple of world-class players. No one's going to argue with that. Yes, they were decent in the transfer market. You know what I mean? As much as I don't like Richarlison and them man there, Richarlison, Bentancur, Kulusevski, they bought well. By the end of the day, they're not a team. They're not a cohesive team. And you've seen them come up against big teams and struggle this season, whether it's in the Champions League, whether it's against Chelsea. Luck can only take you so far. Luck can only take you so far, and their luck run out today.
But, you know, let's get into the specifics. Let's talk about the specifics of this game. The first goal, before that happens, the Arsenal, we set our precedent. I believe the game settled into its rhythm very quickly. Arsenal being the dominant side, creating chances from early, Martinelli hitting the post, and Spurs trying to hit us on the counter attack. Before that first goal came, I think like that's exactly how me and Edmin both predicted this game to go. And I'm sure many of you, everyone knew Arsenal were going to dominate possession. And this is when I was saying in my watch along, like dominating possession doesn't mean that, you know, for how Spurs are set up, doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to be the better team. Spurs played exactly the same against Leicester City. And no one's going to say Leicester are better than Spurs because this is how Conte has set up this team, how he's built this squad together, bringing in a Perisic at wing back, bringing in a Longley, bringing in Basuma and not playing him and settling for that Højbjerg and Benson core midfield. Richarlison, who's thrived in a counter-attacking system, ever since he's come up into the Premier League at Watford and at Everton. And with Kane and Son and the roles that they have in their squad, that for me didn't mean that we were the better side. It's of course taking those opportunities and limiting their chances. But before we get into that, the first goal for you, 22 passes. That was that.
I know.
Before that strike had happened. What was your thoughts on that goal, Thomas Partey?
It was coming. I put it in the comments. I would love Partey to score. And when I put it in, I had a feeling. I was thinking this would be the day that he scores in the North London derby when we needed him and he step up and everything. I got the scorers the wrong way around. I had Jesus to score first.
Yeah, you did actually. You did say Jesus.
Yeah,
before, I remember.
But it just showed what we're about this season. It showed the progression. It showed where we've come from. It showed the process, the plan that was always in Arteta's mind of where we wanted to be, how we wanted to play against teams. Definitely. Just suffocate them, stifle them, just force them back so much that they just don't know what to do. They start panicking. They start playing our game as opposed to their game. And that's what that first goal did. Because I don't think they really had a look in up until that first goal. We went for blood. We went for their throat from the kickoff. And as good as you can set up a side defensively, you can only sustain so much pressure for so long. You know what I mean? Even if you do it for one game to the next, sooner or later you're gonna come unstuck because you cannot. Football's not like that anymore. You can't just park the bus, hit on the brake, and think that's going to get you somewhere. You know what I mean? It's not going to win you anything.
It can against certain opposition, but this is
as a one-off game, yeah. As a one-off game, yeah.
It definitely does work for Spurs because they are where they are in the league for a reason when they've done so well and they finished in the top 4 last season. But this is where I'm giving credit to us here. And this is where you've got to say, this is how well we defended. Spurs did the double over Manchester City, who won the league last season, playing that exact same way. So it definitely works for me. And there's sides that have done that. Chelsea have won Champions Leagues, playing that exact style of football, as well as 2 years ago. But this is where I'm saying for Arsenal, how we defended for 90% of that game, it won't get spoken about. And limiting their chances. That's where you got to give us praise, I think, because it definitely works, their style and tactics.
I mean, it does. But when you have someone like Saliba, who I voted for man of the match, and it's close between him and Xhaka. When you have someone like Saliba in your back line, he calms things down. He's so composed. I mean, if you were to look at that and you'd never seen football before and you watch that game, you would say Saliba was the older centre-back and Gabriel was the younger one. And Saliba was guiding him because Saliba was ridiculously composed. And he has been for the whole season. Whether I've seen him live, whether I've seen him on TV, whether I've seen him on PlayStation, the brother is just so composed. I mean, there was a point in the second half where he was surrounded by 3 Tottenham players in his box. You would have thought it was Gabriel Jesus in their box because he went round the 3 of them, come out and looked up and went, oh, yeah, I'll get to you. The composure of that brother means that we can play the kind of football that we're playing now. Means that Gabriel can be a little bit hot-headed because he's got that calming influence. Because you know the best centre backs pairings from time in the Premier League. You know, Ferdinand and Vidic. One of them's cool, one of them's hot-headed. So Vidic is the hothead, the hammer.
Yeah, of course. I think that's what centre back partnerships, the best ones.
Right.
But one is the aggressor, the other is
and the other one's calm, and Ferdinand was that. This is them. You know what I mean? I can't see anyone short of injury ousting them two. That's our first.
We'll get into talking about players and specifics and those things there. how did you feel how we were set up in this game?
Perfectly.
Starting with Benjamin White at right back, which we spoke about in the space yesterday.
Yeah.
We was to do it in the cup final. We'd start Tomiyasu. But we also had the discussion. If you guys check out the spaces, follow me on Twitter, because we will be doing plenty more. And Wilf is he's come in the last two now. So my brother, man, and we have great debates on there.
Awesome.
And he said the point, you know what, you have to play Benjamin White. We totally agreed. And in terms of a management point of view, he did. And we set up with Zinchenko in as well. He was brought back into the fold when Tierney had a good performance in his last game against Brentford. Ødegaard coming back into the side. How did you feel that we were set up into this game? Did that give you confidence? Was there anything that you was worried about?
Perfectly. There was nothing I was worried about. And like we said in the Twitter chat that we were saying, I mean, I didn't expect Arteta to do anything different than he did. The team that he put out is the team that I expected. And this is why he's manager and I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I that's exactly what I expected. With the balance, with Zinchenko on the other side, and credit has got to be, I don't think enough credit has been given to Ben White.
Absolutely.
In the intelligence of the player. Yeah. His just football brain.
Learn, which is what
this is what I'm saying to you
in the All or Nothing documentary.
Right, this is what I'm saying to you. The brother is calm. The brother learns. You put him in goal, he would learn that within a couple of weeks. And what he gives us, the balance, and for him to be playing there, I don't know. I think he might have played there for Brighton, but
he played right-sided centre back in a back three, so he's covering those sort of similar positions.
Right, that's as close as he's got. Right, that's as close as he's got to being right back. The intelligence that it takes for a player to come from, whether you're a defender or a striker or whatever position, to play on the right side, on the right back position. You're a defender, you know.
Yeah,
it's a totally different mindset than playing centre back. It's a totally different read of the game. And for him to come in and do that, and look who he's played against: Zaha, Rashford at Man United, and Son today. And
well, he came up against Sancho really because Rashford.
Right. Sancho. Yeah. Thanks for correcting me.
But Sancho was. Did Sancho do anything in that game?
This is what I'm saying to you. Zaha at Palace. You know what I mean? And people keep slating him and go, oh, he's not this and he's not that. What do you want him to do? He does his job. That's all you can ask for from a player. Do your job, win your personal battles, and let everybody else do what they do on the pitch. And he's done it again today. He come in, didn't put a foot wrong. Had the other players that were nominees for man of the match not been man of the match, he'd have been up there.
Definitely.
You understand? You know what I mean? So I the setup was, when I saw the lineup and having Partey in there, I just thought, we got this. We got this. I didn't expect anything different to the score that we had. I would have liked more, but hey, you know what I mean? In the predictions, it means I get 3 points. So they're always looking after me, Arsenal. But I didn't worry or wax or was concerned in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. Let me get into the comments. Let me see what people are saying. First, and we'll go into some more. Big up each and every one of you.
Big up the comments.
Exactly. We've been 14 minutes in, and we ain't even seen what you guys have said yet. That's just how gassed that we are. Eddie's in here saying Eddie's football waffle. Go check him out. It says, big up Tereak. Good win for Arsenal, but dumb. You know who? Emerson handed them the second half. I
disagree.
But I totally disagree as well.
Yeah,
we were the better side. We were 2-1 up at that point. I guess he made it easier for us and gave us more made us feel a little bit more relaxed. But he didn't change how the game went.
The game was going that way anyway. If we'd finished 3-1 with them 11 men on the pitch, it wouldn't have been a disservice.
This is it. This is why when we get into the the little bit of negative, but we're not going to spend too long. How many chances did Tottenham actually have? Chances. The two that I can remember, apart from the goal, were both offside.
Yeah.
Literally, like they tried to spring the counter attacks, but we defended really well for 90% of that game. So
this is what I'm saying to you. We learnt from the Man United game.
Yeah.
This is a different animal to last season. I actually think last season, had we made top four last season, we wouldn't have learnt so much, and we would have come up against these mistakes again.
Yeah.
I think. Don't get me wrong. I would have loved top four last season, but the fact with a young side like this, when you have setbacks like that, you learn from them really quickly, and you can see that in this now. We're learning quick.
Exactly. Big up Bobby K as well in here.
Yes, Bobby.
Big up Fads, big up Brad as well, Matt G in here. Eddie also said that Jesus was pretty good, should be a contestant for man of the match. He has been in every game. I think he's won it. So you have to give it to someone else today. But Bobby K, big up my brother, man. He's coming here. He says, well played, boys. Hope we can repay the favour in January when me and the boys get over for the North London derby.
Yeah.
Big up yourself, Bobby, man. I have big respect for you for coming in and bro and showing love as well, man.
I'm assuming Bobby's a spud.
Yeah, he's a Spurs fan. Yeah.
Okay.
Canadian Spurs fan.
Okay.
So yeah, he's
did they get that far in Canada?
You can check his channel out as well, Will.
I will do. Big up Bobby.
Yeah, definitely a top guy, man. And you know what? He's all right for one of them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. See, that's what they do. They get in your heart and then tell you they're Spurs fans, and you can't drop them then. Actually, I have so many brothers that got that.
To be fair, this guy, he works magic, man, because I knew he was a Spurs fan before I even met him. And to take me from there and still like him and have...
See, this is what I'm saying to you. They do them Jedi mantras, they get in your heart, and then you can't drop them because they suddenly go, they're Spurs fans. So, Matt G! How you doing, bro?
Exactly. Matty G's in here. He's gassed as well. T and Wilf winning duo. Brad's absolutely buzzing today. Eddie says, I couldn't actually believe that Saliba was doing Benito Brazil settings in his own box. He's a Lamborghini.
I know.
We'll get into him. You're spot on. Me and Wilf definitely agree with you there. The nutmeg.
Unicorn. I know. I'm sorry. I cheated on my missus with that nutmeg. Okay, I cheated on my missus with that nutmeg. It was just sweet.
Exactly, man. The nutmeg. He's a madness. Eddie, I'm glad you saw that as well, man. He's quality. Yeah. Monzi's in here. He's saying you're still 2 injuries away from having a crap season.
Oh, and which team isn't?
No. Have we had 2 injuries? I think we've had more.
No. But I'm saying if Man City lost Emerson and KDB,
Emerson.
That's this. Their goalkeeper.
Edison.
Edison.
Yeah,
Edison. Sorry, my bad. South London accent. If Liverpool lost Salah and I don't know Van Dijk.
This is what I'd say. Do you know what I'd say? Because everyone talks about Thomas Partey. If he got injured, they'd be in trouble. If Rodri got injured for Manchester City,
exactly.
They've got Calvin Phillips, which is decent cover now. But
but he's not at the level of even as good as I rate Calvin Phillips, and I rate him. Yeah. He's not going to settle into that side like Rodri does.
Exactly. And it took Rodri and Fabinho. Yeah, Liverpool are struggling right now, losing 2-1 to Brighton at defeat. But this is what we're saying now, Munzi. Like when people say, but if you lose this player, if you lose that player, like let's not talk about football in completely hypotheticals. The where Arsenal fans have a worry and where rival fans can say is because these Partey is injury prone. And we've seen the drop off in those areas. But to say if you pick up these injuries, if you once, I don't, you know what? It's not even necessarily KDB because of his quality, because I still think they have a lot of depth in that area. It's like saying for me, you might think Jesus or Erdegaard's better than Thomas Partey, but that doesn't mean that if, as you said, Ederson is way more important for Manchester City than Kevin De Bruyne, than even Haaland. And Rodri is more important than Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland as well, because they don't have much, proven depth in those areas. For Liverpool, Fabinho, if they lost,
but you can't. But that's the thing, you can't. You can't have those players and have someone equally as good on the bench, because it just doesn't happen.
Exactly. Set Arsenal strongest 11 looking tasty. Definitely agree with you, B&B. Do you know what? It's not even just the strongest 11 now. I've been very impressed with the depth that we've had in those areas. Once again, in reply to Munzi and everyone else that thinks that, injuries, it's going to mash up your season. We've had we've had Tomiyasu, we've had Tierney, both of our starting fullbacks last season, who none of us would have replaced. None of us thought they would get dropped on this side. We've had so we've also had Thomas Partey missing as well. And those are key areas right there.
And every big team has, no matter how much depth they've got, there are certain players in every big team that if they lose them, it's kaput to their season. Every team that's won anything, whether it's a cup, whether it's a league, whether it's Champions League, there's an element of luck of keeping your players fit. Leicester, even Man City, even Liverpool, when they won the title, and I think it was the next season that they had Van Dijk out and certain men out there and stuff. There are certain players in every team that you cannot afford to lose long term. Exactly. And we're no different.
Very true. It's very true. Every single team has it, all the best teams. And if we were to do the unthinkable, of course we're going to need a lot of luck in terms of injuries. Every side that does it needs it. We saw the drop off, not from Liverpool now. I know the drop off's been huge. From when they won the league, competing for the league, to where a few players got injured, fighting for top four. It's fortune and luck is always going to be a part of sport.
Exactly. Whatever sport you do, whether it's Formula One or it's Tiddlywinks.
Exactly. Big up Bobby K in here as well, saying Emerson getting carded didn't win you the game. This is a big respect for you for this, man.
Yeah.
I'm sure there would be, diehard Spurs fans that would say that. But now I respect this, because he says you were dominant at that point. But him being sent off assured, we couldn't get back into the game.
He let Tottenham down by the fact of he negated any chance they had to get back into the game.
Yeah, exactly that. Brad, if you want to jump in, bro, feel free. I'm going to drop the link in for you, man. And the same for you as well, Bobby. If you want to, I know you're out at the moment, but we'll definitely have to have a link up soon. And anyone else that would like to jump in for to discuss your thoughts, probably going to be going out for another 20 minutes or so. So if you're going to jump
Bradley should be studying though. Bradley should be studying.
Exactly. I'll drop the link into the chat for you guys. We're still running through some key performers. Because this is an instant match reaction, and Wilf, I need to talk to you. We can probably go into a little more depth on Monday, possibly. I'll be around. There we go. I just tell me some of your most impressive performance today. You've already mentioned Saliba. You mentioned Ben White.
Xhaka. Xhaka is a huge one, and I'll tell you why. Because for me, he was at fault for the goal. Everybody's going to blame Gabriel, and he should stay on his feet and all the rest of it and whatever. But if Xhaka hoofs that into Rosette, it negates what Gabriel does. But in previous games, in previous situations like this, Xhaka would have fallen into himself. So I've got to give him props for that. I've got to give Gabriel props for recovering from giving away the penalty. Ramsdale, because that was a very important save that he made. I think it was at 0-0. And you need your goalkeeper
Was he onside or was he off?
It doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Exactly.
I think he was slightly offside, but it's irrelevant because Ramsdale. Yes, my boy Brad. Yes, brother.
Oh.
Bobby, pleased to meet you, bro. But as I said, no worries. Ramsdale, and the sign of a good goalkeeper is when you've got nothing to do and you're called upon, you make that save. And Ramsdale has been taking some heat this season, last season, and all the rest of it. And you forget just how young him and the rest of this team is. The brother is in his early 20s. Goalkeepers don't come to their fore till they're like late 20s. Who else can I? It's difficult because there's been so many, and I know while you were doing a watch along, you said about Odegaard, but I think Odegaard still had a good game. He didn't have the heights that he had. You remember we was talking about Xhaka? Yeah. But he was definitely he was definitely no. I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm just saying I don't think he was as bad as people made out. But like I said, go on.
He was a problem in that first half.
No. He took a while to get into the game. You're not going to argue.
Attacks came from Odegaard losing the ball.
I'm not going to argue about that at all. But for me, I mentioned Ben White. It's hard because there's so many. Even Zinchenko's coolness. There was a time in the second half where we were trying to get out from their press, and Zinchenko just clipped the ball over a brother, and he's so calm. And those kind of players, they kept us calm in the time when we needed to control the game. You know, when you're young and you're hot and you're going, right, they scored a goal back. We need to get back into this game. We need to control. Those were the brothers that kept our feet on the ground and went, no, just cool, just keep playing our game.
There you go. Big up my two Bs in the place, Bobby and Brad. It sounds like it should be a show. That should.
I know it is. It does. It does.
Physiotherapists on YouTube, Bob and Brad. Isn't there?
Exactly.
We're working on back doors. Me and Brad pretend we've never even met before when we come on other people's streams. Though we're working on a production right now.
Okay, cool. Love that. Love that.
Nice to meet you, Brad and Will. Very good to see you again, my man.
Hey,
Bobby, great to meet you. Brad, my boy, love you.
Massive respect for you for coming on, Bobby, man.
Well, I figured, you know what? There's three of you. There's one of me. 3-1. Might as well just put the I try to be the optimist regardless. So, you know.
Yeah, my man.
The only thing that's shit for us is it's, you know, over here it's 6:15 in the morning. Get up, and go all the way down to the pub downtown Toronto to watch the game and everything, and wake up a 16-year-old teenager and get his ass ready. So it's like I'm trying to raise the dead, you know. So
yeah. And so where do the pubs and bars open like ridiculous times?
What it is we have actually a home pub here called the Scotland Yard, which is a Spurs pub, and they're awesome. They're really good for us. They open the doors on game days for us. They'll open at 7 a.m., but they're legally not allowed to serve till 9 a.m. our time. So they do breakfast, and they do they'll create a special breakfast menu with us. This is not like the big breakfast, like breakfast sandwiches kind of thing, some light stuff, coffees and stuff like that. So they're really, really good.
Where are you?
It was packed. It was surprising. Yeah.
Where are you?
In Toronto. I'm half hour outside Toronto, but
Okay, cool.
Coast City is Toronto, Canada. So like I said, Scotland Yard down there is our home pub. Really good environment. And the thing is, it's the one thing I like about it is I can take my kids. You know, I got 12-year-old and 60, well, soon to be 12 and a 16-year-old. So it's a good family environment, and and the boys understand. You know, at least my wife appreciates the fact that when football's on, well, there is no watch your mouth because. Well, I'm not going to watch my fucking mouth.
Exactly. And you know what? While you lot are out, she's probably doing her nails and having a pedicure and manicure and having the girls around having massages and stuff. All right, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, 6:30 in the morning, 7 a.m. She woke up. She's got the house to herself.
Exactly.
Okay, silly over here, Wilf, man. That's the kind of day you just crawl your ass back into the covers and you flip the TV on in the bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. She's probably doing a jig. As soon as you not close the door, she's off in her dressing gown, just doing a little jig going, it's all mine.
She was throwing confetti in the driveway over herself. You know, my girl thinks she's in the Bahamas as soon as we leave.
Exactly.
On a holiday.
You're falling into Bobby's trap here. He's not mentioned the game once.
I know. See, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. They ingrain yourselves in their heart, and then you think, oh yeah, you're crying, you're a Spurs fan. Yeah.
He's not mentioned the game.
Come on, Wilf.
Jedi mind tricks thing.
I want to hear Bobby's thoughts on the game in particular, and we hear Brad's as well, my man. So Bobby, you can give us from a Spurs perspective, and then how you're looking at it as unbiased as you can possibly, because you've done really well in the comments to the praise that you've given us as well. But what was the things that you were most disappointed about from a Spurs perspective?
Well, I could sum up the entire game in one basically word, which is right from the beginning. When we saw all our fans in the YouTube community, everything, most of our fan base was screaming for us to go to the 3-5-2 or 5-3-2. We saw the change that it made against Leicester and what an impact it had in the game and the way it freed players up to actually do what they want to do. This forcing this 3-4-3 formation on us that just doesn't work. It's not worked in a single game. The results have been there, but the football has been very poor, and okay, as long as you're getting results in games you didn't get results in before, you can say that's an achievement. It's a step up. Okay. But if you don't see a little bit of quality or the tactical changes made to address when you're not playing properly, then who's that come down to? We were all tooting the major difference in this game was going to be Conte over Arteta, and Conte's stubbornness lost to Arteta's almost, I would say, willingness to be attacking and just to continue to play his way and trust his team to do what they do, which they've done well all season. Credit where credit is due. You guys have played good football too. You've won and you've played good football, which is, as far as I'm concerned, if you're a fan of any team, that's all you want from your team. You want to be able to watch the game, win the game, and be excited while you're watching the game.
Can I ask you a question? What are your thoughts on Conte? I haven't heard this from a Spurs fan. What are your thoughts on Conte?
You know what, Wilf, with this one, it's the bottom line is a serial winner. He's the best manager that we have the ability to get pull on and bring in. He's probably one of the best managers that was available in the world. Well, he was the best manager available at the time in the world. So we got him. So to steal from you guys, you have to trust the process now. You have to back him the way he wants to be backed. You have to give him the tools that he needs. And, this is where the fan base is in disagreement with Spurs, is that some will say we had a great transfer window in the summer. Some will say we didn't. We cleared out dead wood. But this project, like you guys, we all know things like this don't get solved in one transfer window, two transfer windows. It takes a couple of transfer windows. It takes a bit of, you work. It takes a little bit of going down the rabbit hole and being frustrated as fans and players and management and the club overall to finally bounce back. So, if this is the phoenix rising out of the ashes, and if anybody can raise us and take us to that next level, it's going to be Conte. But his stubbornness, I think, sometimes frustrates us as a fan base because, even the changes he made. We took off Richie and Son and brought on Lucas and Doherty. And okay, at that point, it was basically at that point in the 70th minute, I asked for my bill. I asked for the check because to me, he just basically threw in the towel and said, "I'm going to keep my players for Tuesday's game now, and we're giving up on this one." And to me, that defeatist attitude is not acceptable, especially with 20 minutes left. Because when we have a team like West Ham, who in 8 minutes scored 3 goals against us at the end of the game last year to draw, why can you not have faith in your team to score 2 goals and get back into the game? But that Emerson card, like I said, that really put us behind the 8 ball.
I have to say, when Son went off, I thought game done. When I saw Son go off, I thought we got you, look.
Okay.
Do you know what? I think it's hard though, because Arteta did the same thing when we went down to 10 men and we conceded that second goal just last season. yeah, you kind of got to pick your battles at this point in time in the season because the games are coming in thick and fast. Do you want to, if they're pushed for that next goal and then it ends up being 4-1 and then the hedge drop? I think it's all about damage limitation. And it's not just even in terms of this game, but confidence going into the next game, the process, as you're saying, Bobby, as well. You kind of want to say, we'll move on from this game now. We take it on the chin. And because I think with both sides setting up into this game, the pressure's more on the home side as it is in the North London derby. And if with Spurs, if they're losing this game, it doesn't change the way people see Spurs in my eyes.
No.
Some does. Right now, you know what I mean? The immediate effect of obviously what happens is going to ripple through the fan base. But I've got to be honest with you guys. I got boss ladies yelling at me. We've got a family thing to get over to here. So
No
give you your well-deserved praise for this time. Just want to remind you that it was the exact same result last year. So I'm hoping pattern and history repeat itself. I look forward to smashing you guys in Tottenham when we finally get fly over and get to a game ourselves, and look forward to repaying the favor. Other than that, enjoy your moment, guys.
Bless up, Bobby. Pleasure meeting you, man.
Now, massive respect to you, Bobby, for coming on. And in terms of 3 Spurs boys, there's only one team in North London. You like that?
That's how you kick a man when he's down.
I'm sorry.
Have a great day, guys. Bradley Wilf, nice to meet you. Sorry, Bradley, didn't even get 2 minutes to talk to you there quickly.
Yeah. I know.
She's got more power than you do right now. So have a good day.
He always does. Always does.
Big up, boys.
Hey, big up, man. Big up. And big up my brother Brad as well, man. Come on. Yo. Now it's time. The floor is yours.
Yours. Yeah. Go on, Brad.
Feelings, emotions throughout that game, my bro.
Well, first, I just want to say congratulations on hitting over 500 subs. I haven't gotten to congratulate you yet. That's awesome.
Thank you.
This was one of my favorite watch-alongs so far since I started watching them last year. I mean, oh my God, that was just so much fun. I was very scared after we conceded the penalty. I'm not going to lie. I was gutted. But because T, you said it's like, we need a goal here. And then 2 minutes later, goal of the season.
Yes.
Better than pies. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, just this team, I've never been so in love with a team before, like across all sports. Like I've grown up watching college sports and all of that. Like I've watched some very good college basketball and football teams, but this team is different. I mean, just the potential alone, like how good these guys are now. Like, and they're my age, which is weird, but like
I know.
they have so much more to gain. Like Martinelli, he was insane today. I wish he would have gotten a goal, but we'll take an assist. Martinelli's my favorite player right now. Yeah. But oh man, just absolutely loved it.
You know what? It's a good point you raised there, Martinelli. We haven't really spoken about him as well, Wilf, because there were so many good performers in that game. Martinelli, the energy that he always possesses. We was having this conversation yesterday as well, talking about he will always capture the imagination and the hearts of us and whatever team he plays for, because he works so hard. He's got such tenacity and skill and such confidence. Like he plays with zero fear at all. And there's no handbrake, literally, for Martinelli. And I know Arteta's spoken about going up through the gears, and you know what? We got someone else who's coming in here as well. Hey, we're all the way.
Yes, my king,
the king of Gambia himself.
Believe. How you doing, King?
One. Nah, I'm amazing. Honestly, I'm so happy with the guys. I'm so happy with the team, and you know what? Granit Xhaka, we need to speak about him. I know a lot of people don't want to give him his praises, but this guy has been amazing for Arsenal this season. He's been our best player. Like, if you look consistency-wise, he's been our best player.
Yeah.
And he keeps on putting in man-of-the-match performance after man-of-the-match performance. And he's adding goals and assists to his game as well.
Exactly that.
You know what was even more amazing with the game was that when Tottenham scored that penalty, the guys could have dropped their head, they could have became nervous, but second half we come out, we put pressure on them, we keep putting pressure on them, and we deserve to win that derby. And we play much better than Tottenham. And I know they're getting a lot of points, but they've not impressed me this season. I predicted 3-0 to play, it was 3-1, but I was confident when I saw that they played a two-man midfield, and I was thinking, you're just going to give us all the position and hope for a counter-attack. At our ground, it's not going to work. And fair play to Arteta, man. A lot of people gave him stick after the United game. 2 straight wins. We've scored 6 goals in our last 2 games. We're cooking, man. Arsenal are really cooking this season, and we have to give them the respect that they deserve. We are top of the league for a reason.
I said we needed to score first. I said in the chat and then in the Discord chat, if we hadn't scored first, I don't think that game would have gone the way it did. We needed to get that we couldn't have gone behind in that game because we would have got too frustrated. We'd have played into Tottenham's hands and we'd have probably given up another goal and all the rest of it. But yeah.
100%. And it's, hey, look at that. We got another young right there. Yes. That's what I love to see. Hey, hope you keep doing well. Did you enjoy that? I'm sure Daddy enjoyed that indeed. Look at that. That's beautiful. King, when you getting her in the Arsenal top?
No, I'm getting one this week.
That's Get her the Jamaica one. Go on. Tell her.
No, it's not. It's not.
They're not doing no Bayesian one, bro. Don't worry about that.
I will find you, I will find you. I have to ask, Brad, have you moved like houses and stuff?
Yeah, so I've been kind of all over the place. So when I first was hopping on these, I was in my first apartment, and then over the summer I moved home, and then I moved back up to school, so I have another apartment. So yeah, my third scenery. Good eye.
Nice.
Man's got a different setting each time, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I really do.
Hey. Brad's a billionaire. He's just got he's got several.
Hang on, King.
You know what I mean? He's kept that quiet.
King's flying all over the world at the moment. And
I know.
You just had to dip, but
he's using Brad's jet. He's using Brad's jet.
yeah, because that's why I have cowboy hats as decorations. Yeah,
exactly. So he's using Brad's private jet, but we don't get to. Me and you, T. We don't get to use Brad's private jet. So I see how it works.
Exactly.
But, real quick,
says,
sorry.
No, what were you going to say?
No, go on.
I was going to say I kind of got a hot take. If you want to get into it, I don't think that was a red card. I might get stick for that, but I don't think that was a red.
Okay, why? Why don't you think it's a red?
Can we like just end his connection to the stream?
Right. So,
listen. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was a horrible tackle, right? I'm like, that's clearly a foul, but I would have seen it if it was a second yellow. Like, he should have gotten a yellow earlier in the game, and then that could have been the second yellow. I kind of think the ref was making up for the fact that he didn't get a yellow earlier, because I've seen way worse tackles not even get a yellow. So I don't know. That's my take on it. But I'm not going to.
You know what, Brad? I have to agree with you because I didn't necessarily think it was a red. If that had been for us, I'd have been cussing, but because of the amount of tackles that he was doing, it was. I agree with you. Actually, that's a really good point. I don't think it was a straight red. I've seen worse. If he'd come in from the other side, and it was the inside of his ankle, that high up, it would have been a straight red. But because it was on the outside, and he was going down the line, that would have been a yellow for me.
But you see, do you know why? Do you know why we're saying that, guys? It's not because of the actual rules. It's because of the referees' inconsistencies.
Yeah.
Like Virgil van Dijk against Everton did the exact same challenge. Everybody was calling for a red card. And so the only reason why we'd say now it's not a red is because we've seen it not being given. Doesn't mean it's not a red card, because it's kind of, to the rule, it doesn't really matter where he catches him. It's about how high, and if it's about how high he catches him, not in terms of it's the outside or the inside, because it's reckless. It could have caused danger to Martinelli.
I disagree. Because if it had been on the inside of his ankle, that's a leg breaker. For me.
But
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying,
but that
because
should be the difference between a red. You shouldn't have to get almost a leg breaker for it to be a red. If it's endangering the opponent, which it could have caused him injury with his inversion of the ankle.
Yeah.
The reason we don't see that as often is because you don't. And even we've seen it. Van Dijk again. He caught the outside of his leg. And that one, people were screaming for a red card. So I think it is a red card, but we don't see it as often as we should. Well, what would you?
I actually agree with Brad. I'm glad it was a red, and in the heat of the moment, I was like, yeah, red. But I agree with Brad.
No, I think it's a red card. What about you, King?
Yeah, I think it's one of them. Yeah, if you give it a red, it's okay. If you give it yellow, it's okay. I don't think I've seen worse. But also, you don't want to see them tackles in football. And it was an unnecessary tackle. He had no chance to get the ball. He had no intention to get the ball. He was trying to damage the player. And he got a red card for it. It was a stupid tackle. And I think they should be more upset with him than with the referee, if anything. And we should have had maybe even 2 penalties. Like, regardless, I feel like that red card kind of helped us, because after when we scored the 3-1 goal, we was just controlling the game. We weren't trying to score more because we knew that they were defending. Conte just brought on a lot of defensive players, and it tells you a lot about his philosophy versus ours. And I'm glad that we won, because I felt like football won today. Like, the better team, the team that wants to play, the team that wants to create, that's the team that won today. And fair play to Mikel, he could have gone into this game and changed his tactics, but he didn't. And this is the thing, like, people don't realize how hard it is in big games, in derbies, to play as attacking as we do, but when it works, it really rewards you.
Yeah, exactly. And guys, what we're going to do to wrap up, I want to get you in the comments as well. So big up each and everyone that's watching in here. Big up my brother Social, Realist, B&B in the cut as well. And everyone else that is tuning in. Morad, if you're still here, and everyone else as well. We're going to do a quick player ratings. I'm going to give you a player each. Okay. We'll go into much more detail, of course, later on into the week, when this is just kind of instant. We're kind of reacting to it. So yeah, guys, we'll start. Oh, should I start off? I'll start off with Aaron Ramsdale. I'm giving, we've won a North London derby. I'm giving him an 8. Massive save. His distribution was good as well. Overall, it was good. He was trying risky passes, and he did well with them. Big saves, good presence. Even the penalty, he did well to close down the opportunity before that. Ramsdale was brilliant today, and exactly the reason why I put Ramsdale over Hugo Lloris.
Yes, thank you
again today, because a man's got a gold trophy because he lifted one for the World Cup. Well done. What's he done in a Spurs shirt? Nothing. All right, remember that. So yeah, Ramsdale for me. Wilf, we'll give you. We'll give you the right back. You can say his name, because I know you like to call him a certain name.
Benito Antonio. Is that what you're talking about? Benito Antonio. Because that's the only time you're going to get respect on his name. I'm glad you said 8 for Ramsdale, because I was thinking 7, but I was thinking about the couple of corners that he had to bow. But Bettino Watonio, I'm going to give him an 8 as well.
Yeah.
Probably 8.5 because
But
I don't
B&B
think
don't
he
like
got-
us doing 0.5s. We can't do 0.5s. He says it's fancy.
or 8.5
8 or
then.
9.
No,
No.
I know.
We can't do 0.5.
No, okay. I'll give him an 8. You know what? I'm gonna give him a 9 because he didn't put a foot wrong. If you can't do halves, he didn't put a foot wrong. So I'm gonna give him a 9.
Yeah. Was you gonna say something there? Anyone got anything else to say on Benjamin White in particular?
I mean, you got to remember, he's a center back playing.
Thank you, Brad.
Like, to put in those levels of performances outside of your natural position is insane. Like, he is so versatile.
Thank you, Brad. I knew there's a reason we brought you on.
we wanted you off a couple of minutes ago. Yeah,
As long as I know
who Royale.
As long as I can differentiate between Eddie Nketiah and Saka, we're good. And
Yeah.
I practiced. We're good now. I know who's good. We're fine. It's not going to happen again.
Oh, man. Exactly that. 9. Wilf, are you eating his looks? But see, Realist is saying, shake my head. What Wilf?
Yeah, Realist is drunk. Realist is drunk. He's
really don't drink as well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Oh man, but yeah, man, it's. Do you know what? I can't really say. I would have went for an 8, but nah, I hear that, man. Like I hear the 9. I'm digging that because he was quality. Brad, I was gonna pass it to Will. Not Wilf. Passing it to King. I'm doing a Brad now.
I know. Yeah, I'm the one with the long hair, right? I'm the one with the long hair.
Exactly. I'm going to give you one of the contenders for man of the match, William Saliba.
Absolutely love him. I mean, what a guy. I actually posted him on my Instagram story just because I can't believe how good this guy is. But I give him a 9. I can't give him a perfect 10 because it's kind of hard for center backs to get a 10 in my book without scoring.
Yeah.
But man, he's just solid. Every time the ball came down his side, I was not worried at all. Gabriel's a little bit of a different story, but Saliba today, 9, just wow. I mean, I'm kind of scared how good he's going to be. He might not want to stay in the future. That I'm kind of worried about your PSGs, your Real Madrid. But hey, as long as he's here, I'm happy.
I was going to say, if we keep progressing the way we're progressing, he'll have no choice but to stay because where else is he going to go?
I want to believe you, but I just have a weird feeling about it. I think Martinelli and Saka are locks. They're not going anywhere, at least for a very long time. Saliba, just some of the comments he was making last year, and I don't hold a grudge or anything, but he's not like a full-on Arsenal guy like Saka and Martinelli are. If that makes sense.
He is now. I think he is now. Now he's actually in the team, in the squad, and actually in and around those players. I think he's got what you're talking about.
Okay,
he has that feeling now.
Right. I really hope you're right because I want him to stay forever. I mean,
me too. Me too.
What a guy!
100%.
I was not
100%.
expecting it at all this season to be this good.
And
so 9.
9, yeah, definitely good. That's a good rating. You got to go 9. Yeah, I agree with that one. Gabriel now, and yeah, I'm glad I've got this one actually because a lot of people at the time, Wilf mentioned it earlier on in the stream too, and were blaming Gabriel for the error, for the goal. I think he plays a part in terms of the build-up, but the actual foul in itself isn't my issue with Gabriel, and it wasn't the main part of that. It was Xhaka whose first touch. Once again, that doesn't occur if Xhaka can get it clear, or even just take a good first touch. If he's not confident feeling it on his first touch, get it gone. Or you know what, just take a better first touch in that moment. But yeah, one of the few errors that he made in this game. But with Gabriel, my issue was he looked on the edge and he looked like he was too invested in this game. And we have seen that from Gabriel in these big moments, like against Manchester City. That's what it gave me sort of them flashbacks to, where he's aggressive. We know he's one of those aggressive centre backs, and his errors and the area of his game that he definitely needs to work on is he's playing out of the back. Like,
but that's how he plays. Because he's so aggressive. That's how he plays. He's always on the edge.
But this is not like, yeah, you can do that, but when you get older and when you mature, you have to be able to channel that, and you have to look, Xhaka, for example.
Yeah,
everyone and their dog was telling me that Xhaka was a liability, right? Yeah, everyone. I always said he was not, because he needed the right surrounding. He also needed to mature in his game as well, which he has done. And those players there, so he's in a much better.
But how old is Gabriel? How old is Gabriel?
This is what I'm getting to. This is where you saw the improvement in his game today. When he does make those mistakes, he does bounce back very quickly. There was doubts in the comments whether they could see him bounce back during the watch long, but Fulham made the mistake, bounced back. Wolverhampton Wanderers made the mistake, bounced back. We saw it again today. He does need to learn. He does need to improve in that, and in against better opposition or in a different scenario, that changes the game. We saw it against Manchester City, so he does need to learn from that. I'm gonna give him a 6. I can't go any lower than that. He was good, and 6 because he wasn't great in the first half. If you watch it back, his passing was a problem. He gave it away a couple of occasions as well. Him and Ødegaard were the main ones who were losing the ball a lot in those areas. So Gabriel gets a 6 for me. What about you, Will?
Harsh.
Disagree. That's fair.
Yeah, I think this is you're talking to someone who loves Gabriel as well.
No. I see why you. I totally see why you get that, and I disagree. But I get it.
What do you disagree?
Does that make sense?
What do you disagree?
I just think, and when I look at Gabriel, I look at how he's improved or progressed since last season. You talked about the Man City game. I see him holding it down a little bit more. He's still got that hot-headedness. But because I see the progression in him, and I see the progression, like next season, he's not going to be doing that kind of crap. So that's why I slightly disagree. I mean, it's not. I'm not going to throw much toys at the pram because you gave him a 6, because that's realistic. We don't give half, so I give him a 6.5, possibly a 7. But because I saw stuff in him after that penalty that made me realize that he is learning, realizing what's going on and why he should settle, and that's why I would give him a slightly higher mark. I mean, you're not unfair. Both of you are not unfair with giving Gabriel the 6, but in a win where we only concede 1 goal, and I honestly think the penalty wasn't his fault, I'd have given him a little bit more. But that's just me.
He wasn't as assured as Saliba as well. Is that kind of where you think as well in his defending as well, Brad?
Yeah, he is just passing after the penalty, like you brought up. Like, he scared me. He gave it away in some really bad areas, and I actually did a quick Google search. He's only 24. I thought he was 26 or something like that. I didn't
know. See what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Like, I had no clue he's that young, but I mean, he still played well. But you also got to, in terms of everybody else, like when you're comparing him to Saliba, like you can't give him any higher than a 6, in my opinion.
Fair play.
I agree. What about Wilf for Zinchenko?
My boy. You know what? I'm going to give him an 8. I'll tell you why I give him an 8. Because we can't do the half points. Yeah, if we'd had the half points, I'd give him a 7.5. Zinchenko did his job. He did what we needed him to do. You know what? No, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah,
because he wasn't flashy. I'll give him a 7 because he wasn't flashy. But he's one of my signings of the season. he is. I don't think he's getting enough credit for what he brings to our side, because Jesus came in and Jesus was exactly what we expected and more. But the calmness, the cold-bloodedness of his performances in this Arsenal side, especially going forward, is something that is underrated from him. But I'll give him a solid 7 because he had a lot to deal with. I mean, at one point I saw him marking Kane at corners and Kane got nothing. And I was worried when I saw him marking Kane at corners because there's a good 2 foot between the two of them. I'll give him a 7. Yeah,
7.
Nice 7.
So now we're moving on into the midfield, Brad. Yeah, Thomas Partey. Talk to me. What's his rating for you?
I gotta give him a 9 with Saliba. Wow, that first goal! It was like 7:45 here. Like I was so scared I was gonna wake up my entire. I was like, no way. He was just great. I don't really remember any mistakes that he made for the most part. I mean, he had 95% pass accuracy, scored an absolute banger, and defended Tereak back well. What more can you ask for?
You gotta fight for your right to party.
Exactly.
I like that, Wilf. I didn't even think about that, but I like that. And then who shall I have? Oh, let me take Xhaka. Let me take Granit Xhaka. Do you know what? I need to hear. I want to hear.
What, the boy that you hate? The boy that you hate?
Will, you get the solo screen, man. Actually, you get Granit Xhaka. But first, I want to hear sorry. All right.
Hey, I you know what? As soon as we come off here, I'm gonna go and bake myself some humble pie. Because Xhaka is redemption. His redemption arc is something. If you put it in a film, you wouldn't believe it. You'd be no, that's ridiculous. You make it up. And I'll tell you why I hated him to begin with and why I love him. Because why I hated him to begin with is because I saw this player in him and he wasn't doing it. Now I understand that he was in a crap team. He was in a team that he was like, this team is crap. What am I doing here? Let me get off the pitch. They don't deserve me. And what him and Arteta have concocted between the two of them, Arteta believing in him and instilling that belief in Xhaka, for him to be the player that we saw for Switzerland, I am happy. And this was always my frustration. If he had been crap, if he was a crap player, I would like the M word that Brad used earlier, and I'm not forgiving you for. If he'd been a crap player, I would have let it go. But because I knew what was capable from Xhaka, that was my frustration. That was why I hated him. And he's done everything that I wanted him to do, was cut out all that crapness, all that Shiites and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's become the player that we always knew, and Wenger and all the other managers that he's played for believed in him. And biggest props to him to have that redemption arc. And I'm gonna put sugar on this humble pie because it's gonna taste good, and I wanted to eat it. So the brother has to get a 10 for me, and I'll tell you why he gets a 10 as opposed to a 9 is because previous Xhaka, after that mistake for the penalty, because he knew he made the mistake for the penalty, he should have hoofed it. He stepped up his game rather than going into his shadow into he's shrinking into his shadow. He stepped up and he just went, no, you know what? I'm not going to be the reason for this. And to the boy.
Fair play. I mean, I'm not going to agree with any Xhaka praise and disagree. I'm not going to disagree with it. So yeah, man, I'm all here for it. I'll do Erdegaard then. I would say once again, another player that was in the first half. I thought he was poor, to be honest. On the ball, like whenever I'm like, Erdegaard, it's never what he's going to do for you and what he gives to the team off the ball and those things. I'm talking about what his role is in this squad, and his chief role and his main role is to create and try and link up and try, not even necessarily be the one who's going to play that final ball for the assist, but make that defense splitting pass that will help for Saka to get in and those things there. He was giving it away too much for me. They were trying to spring counter attacks. Spurs were being very physical on him as well. The referee I think he did managed it better in the second half, a bit like Erdegaard. But so for his second half performance, he was much better. He started the second half much better, getting the ball sharper, picking up spaces, trying to find room, and then playing it with much more quality. So I'm going to give him 7. I'm going to give Erdegaard a 7. Would you guys say that's fair?
That's fair.
Yeah.
And who did you give a 6 earlier to?
Gabriel.
Well, you look harsh, man. You look harsh in a win. But fair enough.
Nah,
that's fair enough.
I'm thinking of it from the athlete's perspective as well. They're going to be looking at this, and they're going to be what they'll remember isn't necessary when they go to sleep at night. They'll remember them.
Yeah, and Brad, I don't disagree with you. That is fair. I just think it was a little harsh on Gabriel, but there you go.
Yeah. What about and then Brad? Who else have we got? Have we done the midfield there? You done Partey? You know what? I'll give you my boy Bukayo Saka.
Wearing his jersey right now. I mean, he was quiet, but that's also because teams, like I talked to my dad about this. He's just getting into soccer because like we are actually live texting all the games together this year. And we always talk about it. Every single time a team comes up against us, they double and triple team him. And he just can't do anything. But when he does get the space, one-on-one, he's crazy. Even the 2-on-1, as long as he has just a little bit of room to maneuver, I mean, my God, like, he is so good. That's why I love the fact that we got Jesus, is because now that's taking pressure off of him. It's not like last year where all you had was Lacazette or Eddie or Aubameyang, where you don't really have to worry about them. You got to worry about Saka. So I'm still hoping that he'll get less double teams because it's so frustrating because I want to see him just absolutely go crazy. But loved what I saw from him today. And to add on to the Xhaka thing, Wilf, I'm with you 100%. I hated him last year. I wanted him gone the Roma lengths. I was like, yes, finally, just leave. But yeah, I'm eating the humble pie too. I feel you.
Yeah, you got to bake your own as well.
Yeah. I'll send some to Brad.
No, but I love it though. I love when players make me wrong. It makes me so happy. Like, I would have never expected this from Xhaka. Now, like, he's turning into one of my favorite players. It's complete redemption arc. He deserves a documentary at the end of his career.
Yeah, exactly.
It is insane.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's interesting what Brad says about Saka, and I think we touched it yesterday on the tweet, because he gets so much attention, and his ceiling is so high, it's making him look like he's not playing as well. But he is. It's just people cannot afford to have less than 2 players on him. They cannot. And even if you're Messi, if you've got 2-3 players on you, it's going to limit how good you're going to be. And Brad makes an excellent point there in the fact that I want people to keep 2 and 3 players on Saka, because it means Martinelli and Jesus and Xhaka and everybody else in the team are getting more space. So I don't mind it as much. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly right there. So yeah, just to speed up time, because I've got family downstairs and that. And you probably hear the noise. We'll stick it to 1 player each. So you've gone Saka. I'll let you have Jesus. Will. He was another man of the match contender.
So I'm just a little drool there. Sorry, drool. Just the brother is. I mean, even when he has a bad game, he has a good game. The brother is another force of nature. He scares the opposition. He makes them think, not be able to think about other players because they're so concentrated on him, like Saka. I thought he was immense today. He was in the left back spot at one point, challenging, and he was in the right wing spot. And I'm like, I have to ask: have we only got one of them, right?
I know.
We've only got one. He
made a mad tackle in the second half as well.
This is what I'm saying to you. It sometimes seems like we got two, and he is that striker of old. He's like Henry. He's like Andy Cole. He worries the whole team. They're scared that his name is on the team sheet, and he just bullies. He bullies two centre backs for his side. You're not supposed to do that. If you're like Haaland, then you go, I can understand him bullying two centre backs. But there was times where I was thinking, he's lost that ball. No, he hasn't. How has he still got control of that ball?
Yeah. Like when he got the shot.
And he was immense. I'm giving him a 9 only because I gave Xhaka 10, and I think he was man of the match. Him and Saliba could have been man of the match, but I'm giving Jesus a 9 because I want to give him a 10 because he scored. I want to give him a 10, but Lloris made a mistake. You know what? I'm going to give him a 10. As from Strikers Union, I'm giving him a 10 because he had to be there. He had to anticipate. So I'm giving him a 10.
And you know what? I was going to take Martinelli, but I gave Wilf Xhaka, and I'll give Brad his boy, Gabriel Martinelli. Brad, take it away. And then I'll do a quickly wrap up of the substitutes as well.
Yeah, I'll make it brief, but oh my God. I mean, like, you can see how badly he wants to get into that Brazil team. I mean, because you're talking about it, when he just skipped the ball past two of them, and then, is it a foul? I don't know. But the move to get there was insane. And whenever he's dribbling one-on-one, like, I get excited when I see him like get the ball just outside of the box on that left-hand side. I go like, oh my God, what is he going to do? Because you don't know. He has so many weapons in his arsenal, but like, he could shoot outside, he can cut in and go down for a cross. I mean, he can do anything. And the guy's 21, right? Something like that. Like, he's young, and my God, he's fun. He's my favorite player to watch right now.
Yeah.
And for me, he did get an assist, but I don't think he was quite at the level of Saliba, Jesus, and Xhaka. So in total fairness, it's a bit harsh, but I'm going to give him an 8.
An 8, nice. I like that. I'll probably agree with you on that one as well. And in terms of the substitutes that we had on, Lokonga came on for Partey, Eddie Nketiah, Kieran Tierney, Tomiyasu, and Fabio Vieira. Was there anyone that you wanted to mention, Wilf, in terms of the substitutes that you thought did a good job, solid, and I can't wait to see more of them in the Europa League?
Eddie. I so want him to score a goal for him to get that leap, but when he came on, the level didn't drop. He was busy. He was annoying. He was like, why is he on the field? From a Tottenham perspective, I love him. I love him to death, and I think he's growing, and I give him respect for when he came on because I noticed him when he came on.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I would give Eddie for what he did and the impact. It's hard, man, because the substitutes, when they came on, the game was already done and it was 3-1, and it's difficult. So I gotta give all of them a 6. Oh, you know what? I'd give Eddie a 6. And then Kieran Tierney a 6, and then possibly the rest of them a 5 in terms of Vieira, Tomiyasu. 5 is average. It's not like below average or anything.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And Tierney's
he looks
inverted.
when you can.
Yeah, his learning of playing inverted now
Exactly.
is coming along.
And he's doing it so well. Like I saw it against Zurich, and when I noticed it against Zurich, I went, nah, like I know it's against that level of opposition, but it's not really that for me. I look at the areas that you're taking up in the pitch, because those areas are going to be the same positions, whether you're coming up against Manchester City or Bournemouth. Like you have to know where to be in those areas. And that's what he's doing. And he's showing a good array of passing. He's got that drive. He's got the energy. He's going to give us a different element to what Zinchenko does. Zinchenko is more of a natural in those areas, whereas Tierney's going to be a little bit more robust and a little bit more energetic and give us those things. And will be a better 1v1 defender. But yeah, man, if he can learn that, he'll be like the next Ben White in that area.
Imagine he scored that long shot, though. I mean,
I know.
Lloris had
yeah.
I mean, I thought it went in. I was like, "There's no way he just did that." That would have been
It was
crazy.
a good strike. Yeah. You know what? This is why we love Kieran Tierney, though, isn't it? Like he always gives 100%, and even with or without an injury, it's exciting, man. And yeah, we move on into our Europa League game. And then the big one.
One thing. So after this win today, where does that put us in league position?
I'll have a look at it right now. He's
Brad, do you know?
No, I don't. I might have to look it up, to be honest. My roommate's a Man City fan. I should go ask him.
Should we ask Mr. 200 in the chat?
Yeah, no, I asked Mr. 200. He always knows.
He said, "We are top of the league."
Top of the league. Said we are top of the league.
We are top
of the league. Said we are top of the league.
I love that. But now, big up my brothers Brad, Wilf, and Bobby K and King for jumping on as well, man. I really appreciate it. Guys, last words. Wilf, we'll start off with you, my brother. Thank you for jumping on the Twitter space with me as well last night, chatting with Hanif and Chino. What's your final words, man, after the result?
I see. Nothing has changed. I still think we're in the title challenge till we're not. I'm loving this side. Nothing is unexpected about what we're doing this season. We're a different animal, and I'm loving it. I will ride this pony like I'm in a show jumping contest, and loving it.
There you go, Brad. What's your final? You said something in the comments. You gotta say it now.
I'm gonna say it. I don't care. We are in a title challenge. I don't care. Come at me. That Man United game was an anomaly. I don't want to hear it. We learned from our mistakes, because the way that Liverpool and United play is kind of similar in a sense, where they have really pacey wingers and all they do is counterattack, which in my opinion, that's a very, for lack of a better term, a shit way to play. It is so stupid and I hate it. But I honestly could see it. The only problem is City, and they're just that just that good.
Haaland.
Haaland specifically is just that guy. But I'm looking at Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, Spurs. I don't see us finish our minimum. I'm changing because we had a prediction earlier where I said our minimum's 5. I'm changing that now to 3. I do not see us getting lower than 3.
Welcome to the TPG.
Yeah, I might be eating my words like I did last season when we went on a great run and then lost 3 games in a row. But
I hate what you're saying. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be like that this season, unless we have.
Don't sweat it, baby. Don't sweat it.
Yeah, I mean, the World Cup kind of.
Yeah, it could. Little... That definitely. That's why I'm still like, okay. I'm loving it. I see, as I said in the stream as well, in terms of the title.
Well, people could get hit by a bus and they're, going out crossing the road. So,
man, we've seen things change. And then this is why it's hard to really look back at football and say, "But you said this." But the things change. This game is so fast and moving.
Oh yeah,
literally 3 months.
I'm constantly changing my opinions, constantly, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. They change almost every day.
Literally 3 months ago, right? You're years behind City. You're years behind Liverpool. Yeah, Liverpool. You're years behind us. This and that. Rah, rah, rah. And now literally 3 months later, well, you know what? Maybe we're a season, a couple players off of City, and Liverpool. Guys, football, man. This is the world that we live in.
Exactly. We're sitting above both of them. We're sitting above both of them.
I mean,
if someone who said to you, even at the beginning of the season, before ball's been kicked, like 3 months in, come October, you're going to be sitting top of the season. The people will be carting you off for the funny farm in a straitjacket.
Yeah.
But where are we?
Exactly that.
I want to say one final thing real quick.
Yeah.
I just want to give credit to Arteta on an absolute masterclass of having Partey constantly miss long-range shots, but then absolutely bang one in. So that way, when he gets to the top of the box, no one's scared. Masterclass.
Exactly. And now
that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened.
He hit that Rose head until the North London derby when Conte's there, when they think they can do it.
Yeah, just save it for the big games.
When
they're watching film, like, oh, he's not going to hit that.
Yeah.
And he hits it exactly. A bit like Jeremy Lin Santi. Big up Chino. Oh my word. It's 3-3. Liverpool went 3-2 up. They pulled it back. 3-3 now. We got them next. But people, we're going to wrap it up now. Love to you all. Thank you for joining. And remember,
North London is red.
Yes! Out of mouth of babes. Big up each and every one of you. We're out and peace.